in today's spooky vlog, I am going to be reading the highest and the lowest rated horror on my TBR. Currently, I do not know what those are, so let's go to Goodreads, my want to read list. Let's find the lowest rated one first, and then we'll look for the highest rated one. But quickly, a word from the sponsor of today's video, Book of the Month. So Book of the Month is an online book subscription service for readers where every month they have a curated selection of brand new hardcover books. It's an amazing deal for new books. And with their subscription, you can skip a month at any time and you won't be charged. And also, very soon, they will be shipping to Canada. So the two selections that I have picked for October, I'm so excited about both of these books. The first one is The Family Game by Catherine Steadman. I have been so excited for this book because I heard it compared to the movie Ready or Not, which is probably in my top 3 favorite movies ever. It says a rich, eccentric family, a time-honored tradition, a lethal game of survival. One woman is about to find out if she has what it takes to join her husband's family. The rules: listen carefully, do your research, trust no one, run for your life. Does that not sound like Ready or Not? I'm so excited to read this. And then the other one also sounds kind of like a TV show that I love, and that is Sign Here by Claudia Lux. And this really reminds me of The Good Place. So this says that it's about a guy who works in hell, literally, and is on the cusp of a big promotion if only he can get one more member of the wealthy Harrison family to sell their soul. I've heard that this is like a horror comedy and that it's really funny. Honestly, both of these books I have such good feelings about. I really think I'm gonna love them. So if you would like to get either of these books or check out what their other October selections are, you can use the link in my description and the code Riley to get your first box for just $9.99. And thank you to Book of the Month for sponsoring this video. I really wanted to do this video idea ever since I did my lowest rated books on Goodreads that I've read, and the majority of those books were horror that were rated really low and I actually really loved. I feel like horror is a really interesting genre rating wise because it does tend to be lower rated than other genres, which I think makes a lot of sense. I mean, horror is definitely a genre that wants to make you feel negative emotions, and I kind of think that there's 2 reasons why people tend to rate horror low. Obviously there's probably millions of reasons, but the 2 that I see the most are, number 1, I hated this book. It was so unsettling, so creepy, and so scary. It made me feel negative emotions, so I'm gonna rate it low. And then the other that I see a lot is, this horror didn't scare me, 1 star. Honestly, anyone's reasons are valid. However, I personally don't think either of those are reasons I rate horror low. So let me sort by average rating. Okay, so the first 3 are all books that have 0 because they have not been rated at all. Oh my God. Okay, the first book we have on here is The 7 Visitations of Sydney Burgess by Andy Marino. This has a 3.03. And not only is it the lowest rated horror on my TBR, it's the lowest rated book, period, on my TBR. So we have to read that, obviously. I know it's a horror book. It's about a woman, a home invasion. She's told she killed the intruder, but she can't remember, and no one believes her. Okay, I like the sound of that. So that'll be our lowest rated book. Now let's find our highest rated. Scroll, 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 scroll. No, The Vessel by Adam Neville has a 4.50, but there's only 2 ratings. I feel like that book has not come out yet. Same with The Haunting of Alejandra, that has not come out yet. This might be harder to find a high rated horror. How to Sell a House has not come out yet. Oh, It Rides a Pale Horse by Andy Marino, that's the same author. Never mind, it has not come out yet. That would have been cool though, to read by the same author, but one of them is the lowest rated and one of them is the highest rated. Damn, that would have been good. The Drift by CJ Tudor, that has not come out yet. Are we even gonna find something in the 4s? I don't know. I'm starting to lose hope a little bit. Ooh, T. Kingfisher, that has not come out yet. Oh my God, there we go. From Below by Darcy Coates. This has a 4.21. So this is a water horror book that sounds amazing about a documentary crew who are going to investigate this ship that disappeared 60 years ago and now it turned up where it wasn't supposed to be. Oh my God, okay. Both of these books sound incredible. So the highest rated book I will be reading is From Below by Darcy Coates, and the lowest rated book is going to be The 7 Visitations of Sydney Burgess by Andy Marino, and hopefully this goes well. We're gonna see, I guess, what I like better, highest rated horror or lowest rated horror, but I'm very excited. Like, I feel like these are 2 perfect books. I really feel like I'm gonna love both of them. So I'm going to be starting The 7 Visitations of Sydney Burgess first. I just feel like I'm really going to love this. Oh my god, I just noticed it is blurbed by T. Kingfisher. She said, not quite like anything I've read before, a strange, compelling, late-night page-turner. So the book is split up between 7 visitations. So we have the first visitation, the second, and so forth, which I kind of like that. I like when books are broken up into like shorter sections. So I'm gonna go ahead and read this section right here, which is the first visitation, and then I'll come back and we can talk about my initial thoughts, my first impressions, how I'm feeling. So I read the first visitation section, and wow, this book starts off going 60 miles an hour. The very first sentence is, the man in my house is wearing a mask. So literally this book is starting, Sydney has come home. She finds a man who broke into her house and he's wearing a mask, and he attacks her. When she wakes up, her hands and her feet are tied with duct tape. She can hear the guy outside the room, presumably talking on the phone to someone, saying, it's not here, I can't find it. So she tries to escape before the guy can come back into the room. She is able to untie herself and escape through the window. Then the next thing she knows, she wakes up in the hospital and she's asking the police, like, did you catch the guy? Did you find him? And they tell her that the guy was found because she murdered him and he is dead on the floor in her house, having been stabbed in the face 27 times, which she has no memory of doing. So already loving it. Like, I don't really know what is going on. I don't know if this is really gonna be possession. All evidence is pointing to she killed this guy. Not just killed him, but like brutally killed him, stabbed him in the face 27 times to the point where he was unrecognizable. But in her memory, that never happened. So like, what's the truth? I don't know. But yeah, I'm really liking it so far. The way that it's told kind of is like, at least this first section, the way that it was told, I like. We're kind of just in Sydney's head, and it sort of has this feeling of like, you know, when you're playing a video game and there's some games where like you can control the camera and like where you're looking, and then there's other games when all you can see is what's in front of you. And I kind of feel like this book is one of the ones where you can only see what's in front of you. We're just in Sydney's head and we only know what she's allowing us to know or what she is remembering. With every chapter, we're not getting the full picture of what's happening, and there's like things that we don't, like, that as a reader we don't know, and I really like that because it's almost like a puzzle, and like, when is it all gonna come together? I don't know, but so far I'm enjoying it. Yeah, we'll see how much of this I can get read today. I would like to finish it today. I mean, this little section took me no time. It is reading very quickly, but we'll see. I'm excited. I hope there's gonna be like twists and turns. I really do not know what direction this is gonna take. I'm halfway. Let's see. I'm up to the 4th visitation, which is just under halfway, and I'm still really enjoying it. Everything that I've already said has kind of continued. We're very much like in Sydney's head. She is completely controlling the narrative that we're seeing. I still have no clue what is going on, like what could possibly be happening. The back of this says a possession with a sinister twist, and I'm wondering what that means because so far this is not reading like your typical possessed horror. Like, I don't think there's demons involved. I don't know. I have no clue. I have no clue what is happening. She's a very interesting perspective to be reading from. I feel like she's an unreliable narrator, so I don't even know if what we're being told is what's actually happening. I don't know what's true, what's not true, what to believe. She just discovered something where I'm now like suspecting some of the other characters. But then again, I'm like questioning if what she's telling us is true. I don't know. Everything that I've been told could be a lie. I'm really enjoying it and I'm flying through it. It's reading very quickly despite the fact that not much plot-wise is happening. Now I can kind of see maybe why this is low rated, because if you're the type of reader where you need things to be happening constantly, I could see you not enjoying it because it's very much like just her mind. I read another 50 pages. So I've read 100 pages total so far in these sprints. I'm on the 6th visitation. So I'm getting to the end. It's getting crazy. The way that it's told, it's not exactly like a linear timeline. Like something will happen and then the next chapter, we're like skipping over it and seeing like the aftermath of what happened. And then we go back. Like the main character is not super reliable. And I feel like she's giving information very suspiciously. It's interesting. So this morning I finished the 7 visitations of Sydney Burgess. I think I loved this. A couple things that I haven't talked about. One of the big themes in this book is addiction. Sydney is a recovering addict. She's been sober for 9 years. There's a lot of like metaphors and parallels to being possessed by something is in a lot of ways reminding Sydney of when she was an addict, in that she's having all these gaps in her memory. She would black out and wake up in a place that she didn't remember. She would hallucinate or see things or hear things. I just thought that was a very interesting sort of parallel. I will say, I feel like the way that this book talks about addiction was so raw and so real. I feel like this book could potentially be triggering if you have dealt with some sort of addiction. Something else that I really loved was I wouldn't really say non-linear, but there was this way that we almost were sort of popping in and out of Sydney's memories. And it was cool because, let me find an example. One chapter would end like mid-sentence and the next chapter would start where we're in a different scene, a different memory or whatever, but it continues the sentence from the previous chapter and memory. It was really cool. Let me find an example. So here's the end of one chapter and the start of another chapter. I'm not gonna make it. My breakfast is coming up fast. I'm going to splatter the hallway right outside the guest room. Here we are, I say to Butler. It was just very interesting. It did that a lot. It would be one continuous sentence, but we'd switch into an entirely different scene. And that's why it felt like we're sort of just like popping in and out of Sydney's memories. And I really loved that sort of stylistic writing choice. Also, at no point did I know where this was going. At no point did I have any idea where this was headed. The ending got super weird and I loved it. I loved the ending of this. Yeah, I don't know, I really, really loved it. I think I'm gonna give it 4 stars. I feel like it's not an all-time favorite, enough for me to give it 5 stars, but I really loved it. I am very curious to see why this is so low rated because I don't understand. I don't understand. I thought it was great. There's 2 reasons why I think a book can be so low rated. One of them, I feel like, is that the book is very polarizing. You'll have a lot of people who rated it 4 or 5 stars, a lot of people who rated it 1, 2 stars, and those will counteract each other and it will give it this average 3 rating. Or you could have a book where people unanimously just agree that it's 3 stars. Nobody's really giving it high ratings, nobody's really giving it super low ratings, everyone's just right in the middle. And that would also give it that same average of 3. So I'm wondering what happened here. So let's look at the review, like the rating breakdown. Okay, this is making sense. Looking at the review breakdown, you can see that 36% of the ratings are 3 stars. Only 64 people gave it 5 stars, only 59 people gave it 1 star, but most people gave this book 3 stars, which is very interesting because I do feel like a lot of the other very low rated horror that I've read have way more 1-star reviews than this. And I was expecting a ton of 1-star reviews. Like when you say the lowest rated book, you expect that it's because a ton of people gave it 1 star. But this makes sense that it's just that unanimously people thought this was an average book. But yeah, I definitely recommend this. And I am totally gonna read this author's next book. I know they have another book coming out very soon, so I'm excited to read that. But now, moving along, we will be reading From Below by Darcy Coates, which is the highest rated horror on my TBR. From Below by Darcy Coates. So this book sounds like it could be my perfect book. This is a sci-fi horror that follows this documentary crew who is diving down to explore the SS Arcadia, which is a ship that disappeared 60 years ago. It says, with limited oxygen and the ship slowly closing in around them, Cove and her team will have to fight their way free of the unspeakable horrors now desperate to claim them. I really, really think that I'm gonna love this. I'm so excited. I feel like I've been hyping this book up for a while. So if it's not good, I think I might cry.
A clown. That's clown shit.
Okay, I don't even really know how to begin this clip. So I've been reading this for a month. And I really hate to tell y'all this, but I hate it. Oh. Here's the thing. The reason why I hate telling you guys this is that this book has kind of become a thing on my channel where I've talked about it in several other videos. I've really hyped it up. I get comments frequently about this book. Have I read it yet? Am I doing a reading vlog? What do they think? Like, it's become a thing. And I don't want to disappoint anybody, but I really did not like it. So I didn't vlog a lot for it because I kept hoping that it would turn a corner. I kept hoping that somewhere along the way I would start enjoying it and then I could start vlogging again and tell you guys that I'm liking it. And that just never happened. We're just gonna get into all the things that I didn't like, why this did not work for me, why this sounded like it could be my perfect book and ended up just failing at every point. This book is very long. It is just under 500 pages, and for how long it was incredibly slow. It moved at such a slow pace, and I don't mind a slow book. I love slow books, but this was like painfully slow, and it felt very repetitive. It was a lot of the same scenes, the same conversations, just over and over and over. Here's my thing. Just typically don't like long books. However, it's not that I don't like long books, it's that I don't think a lot of books need to be as long as they are. A lot of times when I've read books that are longer, especially when they're not in like the fantasy genre, which tends to be longer, I think that the length is due to the author not having the skill to edit themselves. And I feel that way a lot. And to me, it's a very big pet peeve. And I feel like that's what happened here. Now, I'm not gonna say Darcy Coates is a bad writer, just like as a blanket statement, because from what I've noticed from her, this page length seems to not be the norm. And I'm wondering if it's because she maybe stepped outside of her normal genre. From what I can tell, she mostly writes haunted house books. This is very different. This is in the ocean. And I'm wondering if maybe she just wasn't confident enough in telling this kind of story and she felt like she needed all of these pages when she really did not. And I think being able to edit yourself as an author is a really big skill that not a lot of authors have. I also hated the characters. Hate is very strong. I didn't hate the characters. I didn't know the characters. For how long this was, we got nothing on the characters. No backstory. I really didn't know any of them. And because of that, I didn't care about any of them, which it's just crazy to me that for a 500-page book, I feel like I don't know the characters. What I do know of them is that they're stupid. They're idiots, and they made the dumbest choices at every turn to make the wrong choice. Annoying, just annoying. The ending made no sense, and it was kind of like explained what was happening in a couple sentences, and then they like moved on, but it did not make sense. It did not make sense, and not even in a good way of not making sense, because I love kind of an open, nonsensical horror ending. They tried to make sense, but it didn't. Let me think of things that I did like, because I'm being very harsh right now. I think I'm being so harsh because I really thought this was gonna be 5 stars. Also because I've read this similar book that was 5 stars, and that was Into the Drowning Deep by Mira Grant, which you guys know is my all-time favorite horror book. Don't read this, read that. Like, it's as simple as that, okay? This book was trying to be Into the Drowning Deep, but failed. And like, it's fine if you wanna like take inspiration or do a similar concept as another book. At least have the decency to do it better or just as good. What did I like? What did I like? Oh, okay. It was told in 2 timelines. One is the present day timeline, which I hated. That was what I hated. And then also told in the past in 1928, I believe. That storyline I liked. That was like the shining star of this book. And I feel like if this book had just been the 1920s storyline, it could have been great. Like, ooh, a nice little novella with just the 1920s storyline. That could have been something. That really could have been something. But the present day storyline was not it. Those characters were stupid. Also, I've always heard people describe Darcy Coates as a cozy horror author, which in theory sounds cool and great. But I have realized that's not at all for me, because when I pick up horror, I'm specifically picking up something that is not cozy. And I don't want it to be cozy. I want death and gore and to be scared and death, emphasis on death. It's like the Hallmark version. You know how Hallmark romance movies, they like give you romance, but the characters like never kiss? It's like that. It's the horror version of that. I feel so bad. I'm being really harsh. I would definitely give Darcy Coates another try. I mean, I feel like I have to say that because I have several of her books now. I'm just very, very shocked that I did not like this. I'm very much in the minority. This book only has like 2 one-star reviews. And I want to give it 1 star. I'm in very small company here. And that's fine. That's really fine. I think I was not the audience for this. This is not what I want in horror. I feel like 1 star is too harsh. 1.5, 2 stars. I kind of want to give it 1 star. Anyways, the highest rated horror I hated. And the lowest rated horror I loved. So what have we learned? I think we've learned that I love low rated horror, which is something that I already knew. But I feel like when it comes to the horror that I love, I like things that are divisive and shocking and are going to create people to have very polarizing opinions. I don't really want something that's just kind of a palate cleanser, you know, that's just kind of treading water. I do need to know in the comments of this video. I would love if you could tell me if you've read Darcy Coates before. Do you think I should keep reading her? Do you think I should keep trying, or should I just call it? Like, is she just not for me? This was a very fun experiment. I'm very shocked by the outcome. I'm rattled. But thank you guys for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this. I do feel like I need to do some investigating and find what else is the lowest rated horror and maybe read those, because clearly I'm onto something. If a horror is rated low, odds are I'm gonna love it. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!